Have you ever felt life begin to accelerate in a way that almost defies explanation? Not the kind of speed that leaves you dizzy, stressed, or overwhelmed, but the kind that feels intentional, almost divine, as though the universe itself has shifted gears and for the first time, you're not struggling to catch up. You're gliding with it. You're flowing with it. You're keeping pace with a rhythm that's bigger than you, but somehow made for you. That is not coincidence. That is not luck. That is alignment. And if you're here listening to these words in this moment, it's because you are standing at the threshold of something enormous. You're closer to your breakthrough than you've ever been, and whether you recognize it or not, everything in your world is already rearranging itself to prepare you for it. The problem is, most people don't recognize the signs. They expect transformation to come with fireworks, trumpets, and banners across the sky. They wait for Hollywood-level drama, some unmistakable external event that screams, "Your time has come." But that's not how real breakthroughs appear. They're quieter. They're subtler. They sneak in sideways through a series of micro shifts so small most people miss them entirely. They're looking for the explosion when the truth is in the alignment. They're waiting for the announcement when the real signal is the shift in frequency, the subtle hum in your being that tells you reality is reconfiguring itself. You want to know the truth? The signs rarely appear where you expect them. They don't come as surprise bank deposits or sudden applause. They show up in your own evolution, in the way you stop reacting to triggers that once controlled you, in the way old problems now collapse under your new clarity, in the way conversations flow when you speak from your new center. They show up in the way you rest, in the quality of your energy, in the silence between your thoughts. You've likely noticed yourself behaving differently without even trying, choosing better food, better company, better uses of your time. Not because you're forcing discipline, but because something deep inside has recalibrated. That is what happens when your inner compass adjusts. It stops pointing to the life you've outgrown and begins pulling you toward the life you were meant to live. And when that happens, you stop questioning every step. You stop bargaining with your intuition. You simply follow, because the path feels undeniable. And here's the secret most people never learn. This recalibration isn't universal. It doesn't happen to everyone. Most people stay locked in their cycles, repeating the same decisions, replaying the same story, creating the same outcomes for decades on end. But when you're on the verge of breaking through, your operating system upgrades itself. Your standards rise without effort. What once felt acceptable now feels intolerable. Mediocrity tastes bitter on your tongue. Your awareness sharpens, and suddenly you see opportunities that were invisible to the old version of you. It's as if you've been handed a new set of eyes that can finally perceive the doors that were always there but never visible. Think back to the last few weeks. Haven't you felt different? Haven't you noticed yourself making decisions with greater confidence? Haven't you found yourself saying no to what you used to tolerate and yes to what once scared you? Haven't you observed the way new people, new energy, new opportunities are circling into your orbit almost without effort? That's not random. That's preparation. Your mind is clearing out the thought patterns that can't survive at the next level. Your emotions are steadying so success won't destabilize you. Your intuition is sharpening into a blade, precise enough to slice through confusion. Your entire being is tuning itself to the frequency of the life you're stepping into. But here's where it gets tricky. Most people misinterpret this shift. They panic when they feel different. They think something's wrong because they don't feel like themselves anymore. They cling to the familiar, even when the familiar is a cage. They try to retreat back into the identity they've already outgrown because it feels safer than the unknown. If that's where you are, I'm here to tell you, do not fight it. That strangeness you feel isn't a warning sign, it's proof of growth. It's the evidence that you've expanded beyond your old container. The unfamiliarity means you are becoming the person who can not only step into the next level, but thrive there. Understand this, the universe rarely tests you with obstacles before your breakthrough. The real test is acceleration. Suddenly, the pace picks up, decisions come faster, opportunities multiply, the stakes rise higher. For the unprepared, it's overwhelming. For the prepared, it's confirmation. Think back to your journey up until now. Every struggle, every setback, every moment you kept walking when quitting felt easier. Every time you trusted yourself in the face of doubt. They weren't wasted battles. They were training grounds. You were being conditioned not for ease, but for intensity. Not for comfort, but for expansion. That's why your breakthrough couldn't have come earlier. You weren't ready to handle the speed, the weight, the energy. You didn't yet have the structure to hold what's about to pour into your life. But now you've built the foundation, and you can feel it, can't you? The steadiness, the confidence, the deep knowing that goes beyond hope. You're not just believing anymore. You're not just wishing. You know. And that knowing radiates. Look around. People respond to you differently. Strangers linger longer. Colleagues lean into your presence. Conversations flow in ways they never did before. There's something in your energy, something magnetic, something grounding, that wasn't there 6 months ago. Your stress response is proof too. The same pressures that once derailed you now feel manageable, even energizing. Where you used to spiral, now you pause. Where you used to react, now you respond. The storms haven't stopped, but you've become the calm in them. Even time feels different. You're not racing against the clock anymore. You're not suffocating under deadlines. Your clarity allows you to move efficiently, to focus only on what matters. Time has become an ally instead of an enemy. Your problems, they haven't vanished, but they've upgraded. You're no longer scrambling for survival. You're strategizing for expansion. You're not begging for a seat at the table. You're deciding which tables are worthy of your presence. The quality of your problems is proof of your elevation. Look at your relationships. Some are dissolving quietly, others deepening with surprising richness. You're drawn to those who vibrate on your frequency, and you're effortlessly releasing those who don't. This isn't a strategy. This is magnetism in action. Even your conversations have shifted. Less gossip, less complaint, less circling around the same stuck stories. Now it's vision. Now it's possibility. Now it's strategy. It's not forced. It's who you are. And your environment, it's reflecting your transformation. You're choosing quality over quantity. You're surrounding yourself with things that inspire rather than just occupy space. Even your sleep is shifting. Your dreams are vivid. Your rest is deeper. Your mornings clearer. Your subconscious is already integrating the new reality. Money is shifting too, not just in quantity, but in flow. New opportunities are emerging. New ways of exchanging value are appearing. Your relationship with abundance is healing at its roots. But the clearest sign of all is your relationship with uncertainty. Where unpredictability once created fear, now it creates excitement. You've built such trust in your own ability to navigate that you actually welcome the unknown, because you know that the unseen carries your greatest opportunities. Most people need certainty to move. They wait for guarantees before taking a step. But those who are about to win, they don't need to see the whole staircase. They've built certainty in themselves, in their capacity to handle whatever comes. And that is unshakable. Here's the final marker of your breakthrough. You've stopped obsessing over the outcome. You're not frantically checking for proof, not constantly measuring progress. You're immersed in the process. The work itself has become the reward. You play the game now because you love it, not because you're desperate for the result. And that shift from outcome to process is the moment victory becomes inevitable. If these words resonate not as motivation but as recognition, then you already know. Your breakthrough is not coming, it's here. The only question left is, will you step into it? Because your moment isn't waiting anymore. It's standing in front of you. And it's time to stop waiting and start receiving.